Thanks for staying with us. On today's Women We Love segment, we host a woman of elegance, excellence, and vision. She is a British-Nigerian entrepreneur, designer, and TEDx speaker, and the brilliant mind behind the Baby Cut Shop in Chelsea and Harrods, as well as the Rivalry Furnishing Prime Properties with timeless made-to-order luxury. Her bespoke creations from cuts to full interiors have graced the homes of royalty, celebrities, and ultra-high net worth families. She has exhibited at Luxe Afrique in Lagos, inspires through her podcasts and writings, and is trusted by private family offices worldwide for her discretion, taste, and flawless delivery. Please welcome to the show the phenomenal Toks Aruture.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
There are days we like to have women who are successful, doing amazing in their fields, to come and talk to us, inspire us. There are many people out there who are looking up to mentors from a distance, who have life visions, aspirations, and sometimes they get tired. So when people like you come on stage here, we like you to really inspire us. But you are into quite a number of things.
I am.
Yes, and I'd like to know, aside from your educational background, how did you know that you were going to be in deep business?
Okay, so I always say that I fell into business by accident. I grew up wanting to be a doctor. I'm Nigerian, so
Of course,
it comes with
Recounts
the territory. Exactly. So I grew up wanting to be a doctor, and I would read my father's medical books as a child, and then I was born in the United Kingdom, but grew up here in Nigeria. I came here as a baby with my parents. And then when I was 17, after 1 year, I did a 1-year stint at Ogun State University. I moved to the UK to do A-levels and then go to uni. And the plan was, go to university and go study medicine. But I was really blessed to have had those parents that said you could be anything you wanted to be. You were so smart, you're so intelligent. And it got to my head. So I get to London and I don't study for A-levels. And to my utter shock, I failed my exams. So I went in anyway and I did pharmacology. And in my second year, got married and started to have the children. And one day I admitted to myself that I had dropped out of school because I was spending more time at interior stores than I was at my human physiology lectures. So came out and got a job as a medical rep with a pharmaceutical company. And then I started to have kids, and they wouldn't give me suitable hours as a young mom. But I happened to be reading a book one day when I had the day I wrote in, and I was expecting the email back from them where they said, no, you've got to work full time. I happened to be reading a book where the author said, your gift is that thing you do so effortlessly that everyone thinks is a big deal except you. And for me, that was interior design, because everyone loved my home, and my friends would say to me, come and design for us, your home looks amazing. And it wasn't a big deal. I'm like, oh, don't you just combine that color with that color? It's so easy. It was easy for me, but not for others. So I concluded that must be my gift. So I then went on and enrolled in a couple of design courses and set up a design firm with the intention of designing homes and all of that. But within a couple of, maybe about 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 at the most, my husband came back from work one day and said, why don't we move to America? And I was like, yeah, let's go. So we sold our home and we moved our kids. We had 3 boys at the time, and we moved them to the US. And in the process of our move, to make our move legal and everything, we acquired a business. And I wasn't really particular about what kind of business. I just wanted something that had good cash flow. It was a risk because I'd never really run a real business. When you do something from scratch by yourself, it is really more of a hobby. You're running at your own pace. And especially when you're not under pressure, this is your only source of income. So I really didn't have any business experience. But here I am now, thrown in at the deep end of running a real business, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing. I learned very quickly. I learned all about the different types of wood. I learned about craftsmanship, and it was in the luxury space as well. It was selling baby and children's furniture, and it was a physical location. And it was just something like I'd never seen before. You know, I'd look at the price points. I'm like, is this real? Do people really spend this much on furniture for their children? But I loved it, and that was my introduction into business.
Okay. I like your story. Okay. Because you are taking that point or not, so I want to ask you. Because I'm listening to you, I got carried away. I'm wondering, where did she find herself? Where in this chaos, in this, you know, losing your exams, getting married, at some point you would have lost yourself. How did you get back to, you know, to that confidence to continue to push, to thrive in business to the point that you're a reference point today for success?
That's a really good question. You know, it's funny, I've never actually thought about that, and I don't know that I ever lost myself in the chaos of it all. I'm a middle child. I'm sandwiched between brothers. I don't have any sisters, but I was raised like one of the boys, you know, like, sorry, mom and dad, you know. You know, so I've never really had to stop and grieve the loss or failure of anything, because having that knowledge that you could be anything you wanted to be, that didn't work out. I've always had that, yeah. I've always had that. I've always had that certainty that I could be anything. And if something failed, it was not because it was impossible. It's because I did not do it well. And I can do it well if I want to, you know. So I've always never really sat down to sit in regret over anything at all. Well, until I lost everything.
Yeah, which I was going to ask you about next. You know, in telling your story, everybody would see just where you are today and the success that you've achieved. But I'm sure on your journey to today, there must have been challenges. And I would like you to reference that one time you lost everything.
The one time or the 100 times. So I did, we back in the US, everything was going beautifully well. Our children settled into school. We were living the life. We lived in Atlanta, Georgia, so we're surrounded by people of color who are thriving. And it was just really wonderful. It was great. And then the recession came. This was in 2008. And initially it started off as rumors that, you know, there's going to be a recession coming, and they didn't even call it a recession. They just said it'll be a tough year in business. But then it snowballed into a recession. So our business was in a strip mall, kind of like a U. So businesses that way. We were sort of on one of the lines there, and we literally watched the businesses from the very first one. It was like a domino effect. They were just closing, and we're watching like, this is coming to hit us. And literally, that is exactly what happened. I remember my neighbor who sold shoes. I remember they came in the middle of the night to just empty their shop, like, you know, and just disappear into nothingness. And see, leading up to that point, I'd never had any challenges in life. You know, yes, maybe there were challenges, but I bounced back really easily. They rolled off my back. It wasn't anything major that I couldn't come back from. And like I said, I'm blessed to come from a very close-knit family, you know, and I have a very supportive husband. And so it was nothing. So when that happened, I was frozen. You know, I didn't know what to do because I'd never been schooled on that. And Nigerians...
Schooled on failure.
Schooled on failure.
Or on life.
Yeah, life. I think life happening to you is more like it, because we do see failure happening to people, but you always think it happens to other people.
It can't come to you.
It can't come to you. So we realized that we had to come back to the UK. We lost absolutely everything, as in everything. And we went back to England, and we came back, and I was pregnant with son number 4. So I call that season of my life the perfect storm, because everything that could go wrong went wrong. Not that the pregnancy was wrong, just you're amazing. But that happened. And so we moved back to England, and I called my best friend and I said to her, you know, we're on our way home. And she said, come straight to my house, because she knew we had nowhere to go. We had no home to go to. We had sold our home. So we go straight to Susie's house. And by the time we arrived there, she had made us a breakfast spread, and converted her dining room.
Because of time. We really have loved to keep you for a very long time, so you can give us the story. But tell us, when you came out of that challenge, how did you begin to see the world? How did you begin to see business? How did you begin to see people who are struggling, having one challenge or the other, and it seemed like you're not in a place to come out? How did that make you see the world?
Certainly more empathetic, now more understanding of what challenge really does look like, what failure looks like. I share my story openly of loss because I didn't hear any stories like mine when I was going through it, and I didn't hear any stories of people who started at rock bottom. And now I know, and I share with people that the best place to start is at rock bottom, because you can't fall any further. Like there, you can't. There's no fear of failure when you have failed woefully, and that's. So it's really affected how I see the world, and I love to encourage people that
Okay, so I want to go back to the beginning. Why cuts? Why babies? Why did you start? Like, I want to know, what was your interest?
There was none. It was literally by accident.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just a case of that was what was available. That was the business I saw that I fell in love with. And I just thought, you know what, we went for it. But because I had an interior design background, I then merged my background with designing nurseries and children's rooms. And so that's how I became a nursery interior designer.
I just want to know, like, finally, if there are like 2 or 3 things you can say, like a character trait that's helped you through life's journey, and you can share with us. And then, if quickly, what's in the future?
What's in the future?
What's next?
What's next? So without a doubt, introspection. You've got to be introspective. Learn what your weaknesses are, the things that would trip you up and move you in the wrong direction. And then develop resilience. The reason why people quit, and no disrespect to anybody who quits, but the reason why we quit is because we stopped before we succeeded, and we didn't think that we could continue going. But if you had held on...
Go back. We stopped before we've succeeded.
Yeah. So there was success on the way, but we gave up because it was too hard, it was too painful. And if our expectations are that this dream I have, which is amazing, is going to be successful, great expectation to have, but it's not always realistic to think that it's always going to be smooth sailing. So just having that
or linear.
Exactly. It's not linear. Life is, and that's something we were told, is that life is linear. You know, and it's not linear. There are twists and everything.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Toks Aruture, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having
You're
me.
someone we'd like to have from time to time to go and give us that inspiration. Tell us that it would be okay as long as we keep moving. We're going to get there. I learned some things. Be introspective. Always look within. Learn your weaknesses and find a way to overcome them. And finally, develop resilience, because life will throw things at you at any time. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we have another super guest. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.